The light that burns twice as bright burns half as long. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be discussing the heartbreaking life of Freddie Mercury. Come along as we take a closer look at the story of this legendary singer, musician, and performer, including the many challenges and hardships he weathered before being taken too soon.
I'll carry on as long as I write music and people want to buy it. That's important to me, but I mean, that's not the be-all and the end-all. I mean, I just, they're very, to me, happiness is the most important thing.
If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out the full song at the link below.
You'll win it all if you're not afraid to lose. There's beauty in that darkness. What will it take to soothe your heart?
There are few musicians that have made a more significant or lasting impression than Freddie Mercury. With his incredible range, unconventionally operatic vocal style, and refusal to subscribe to norms of masculinity, Freddie Mercury was a man who defied convention at every turn.
When you face an audience of 300,000 people like I saw you in Rio, do you get intimidated by the size of that crowd?
No, the bigger the better. In everything.
And alongside his bandmates in Queen, he left an enduring musical legacy that continues to resonate with listeners today. Freddie Mercury died far too young, but even before his fatal diagnosis, the Bohemian Rhapsody singer had already faced more than his fair share of challenges. Mercury struggled in ways that few can imagine.
Everybody was taking drugs. So the combination of all those things and the massive success, where you start to think you can do anything and lead any kind of life without any consequences.
For all his exuberance, wild partying, and apparent joie de vivre, Mercury also had demons and inner struggles that he contended with his entire life.
Your life is going to be very difficult.
Mercury was born on September 5th, 1946, in the British Protectorate of Zanzibar. His parents, Bomi and Bulsara, named him Farouk, a popular Parsis name in keeping with their ethno-religious background, which means happy and fortunate.
The name we selected for him is Farouk. That was his birth name. That was the name at that time, very fashionable in the Parsis, and I just wanted to name him that.
At age 7, he began taking piano lessons, which would prove important in his musical development.
Freddie used to come running after breakfast. Then the radio was on, and then when the music was finished, he went to the stool again and played that tune. I must get him some music lessons. He's got an ear for music.
Mercury was sent to boarding school in India when he was 8, and though it might be hard to believe, he was incredibly shy at the time. Making matters worse was his substantial overbite, which made him the target of much mockery among his peers and earned him the nickname Bucky.
I was born with 4 additional incisors. More space in my mouth means more range. I'll consider your offer.
Though this would have caused many children to retreat inwards, young Farouk Bulsara flourished in the boarding school setting. By the age of 12, he had already started his first band with schoolmates.
I'm practicing a lot and I really like every minute of it. But I have to tell you about something else. Bruce Murray had the idea to form a band and asked me if I wanted to be in it. We will call ourselves the Hectics.
It was also around this time that he began going by Freddie and distinguished himself as a performer. Peers described him as being at once shy and a show-off depending on the situation. This is a duality that would follow him throughout his life. Outwardly exuberant, but inwardly insecure.
Freddie went around calling people darling. We were sort of terribly shocked, it was something that was not done and not spoken about in public. And we were all terribly shocked. I mean, you didn't hear a boy saying darling to another boy. You didn't say it to a girl in public in those days, damn it.
Though Mercury's childhood was a mostly happy one, his life was upended in 1964 when his family was forced to flee Zanzibar out of fear for their safety when a violent revolution broke out.
It was very frightening. It was really frightening. And everybody was rushing around and didn't know what to do exactly, And because we had young children, we had to decide to leave the country.
It would ultimately go on to claim the lives of many Indian and Arab people, with some estimates placing the death toll as high as 20,000. Thankfully, the Bulsara family got out in time and relocated to the town of Feltham in Middlesex, England.
If Freddie had the choice, he would have been born at the age of about 21 in Feltham.
Although tragedy brought the Bulsara family to England, the move did provide Freddie with opportunities he would have been unlikely to receive back home. Here he was able to study art in West London's Isleworth Polytechnic, followed by graphic design at Ealing Art College. All the while, he continued to develop his music, both during his studies and after graduation.
Leaving in the spring of '66 with an A-grade A-level under his belt.
Mercury was involved in a number of projects, but it was when he joined the band Smile, which would later evolve into Queen, that his life would change forever.
Well, then you'll need someone new.
Any ideas?
What about me?
Not with those teeth, mate.
The story of Queen's success has been well documented elsewhere, so we're going to focus more specifically on Freddie's personal life. As the band rose from up-and-comers to living rock gods, Freddie became an icon. His on-stage flamboyance was generally accepted despite gender norms of the time, but did lead to much speculation about his sexuality and, by extension, homophobia.
So it's visual, it's got to be, yeah. So visual theatrics will always be used. All the greatest acts have used it in one way or other.
Decades after his passing, people are still trying to put Mercury's sexuality in a box. Was he gay? Was he bisexual? The reality is, the public confusion over his sexual identity is a reflection of the singer's own lack of clarity.
I think I'm bisexual.
Freddie, you okay?
Mercury never gave the press a straight answer when asked about his sexuality, letting his actions speak for him. Nonetheless, Freddie's behavior did result in backlash from fans. As his style increasingly reflected the fashion of the 80s gay culture, American listeners began to turn against the band.
What do you think?
Gayer?
Not this, darling, the house.
Some fans went as far as to throw razors on stage, encouraging him to shave his gay mustache. Because he never identified himself as explicitly gay, it was as if a portion of the fans sought to sanitize his image.
We got more publicity from him growing a moustache than he would have done if he'd committed suicide, I think.
But given the rampant homophobia of the time, it's little wonder that, while indulging in all manner of sexual activity and being an overtly sexual being, Mercury never really explicitly came out as a gay man.
In your song, Life is Real, what do you mean by the line, love is a roulette wheel? Are you implying that the more partners you have, the more chances you have of contracting something?
What?
Over the course of his life, Mercury had a number of notable relationships. His earliest and perhaps most enduring love was Mary Austin. They lived together for many years and even got engaged. But as Mercury's interest in men became more apparent, their relationship evolved into a platonic one.
I don't have that many people to turn to. The only one, if you're talking about it, is Mary, who's long. She's been a girlfriend of mine for a long time, and even though we're not together right now, I sort of refer to her a lot.
Freddie took many lovers over the years, but few of them are more than a footnote in his story. By 1975, however, he met radio DJ Paul Prenter at a bar, and the latter became a big part of Freddie's life, involving himself with the rock star both personally and as his manager.
I saw him as a very subversive influence in the worst possible sense.
I don't see Queen touring when they're in the 60s. I won't be with them if they are. I hope that I'm sleeping.
What Paul Prento was to Freddie was his partner in crime.
They were lovers and, for years, seemed to have behaved as life partners. Prenter's professional influence over Freddie, however, seemingly drove a wedge between the singer and the band.
Do you mind pissing off? This is a band discussion.
Prenter and Mercury's relationship, while largely obscured in mystery, was by all accounts a volatile and seemingly toxic one. Before passing of AIDS-related illness himself, Prenter sold a story outing Freddie to the tabloids.
I don't care about you. Paul doesn't care about you. You don't belong here, Freddie. Come home.
Around the same time that Prenter and Mercury parted ways, Freddie began a relationship with Jimmy Hutton, with whom he lived for the remaining years of his life. Though he had lovers and friends, Mercury's life was one characterized first and foremost by an intense and pervasive sense of loneliness. In a handful of candid interviews, the singer revealed that he almost always felt alone.
Sure, there comes a time when you want to share your life with someone.
Yes, but nobody wants to share their life with me.
By his own admission, he was prone to falling in love and falling hard. And because he so often got his heart broken, he learned to close himself off, holding back when he felt drawn to someone new.
Before he leaves boarding school, the 14-year-old Freddie jots in a friend's autograph book, "Modern paintings are like women. You can't enjoy them if you try to understand them.
All the lovers he took and messy relationships he had, including the complex one with Mary Austin, were attempts to satisfy his greatest unrealized desire, to be in a beautiful relationship with someone.
The more I open up, the more I get hurt. So, I mean, you know, so basically what happens is, you know, I'm just riddled with scars, and I just don't want any more.
By his own admission, however, his self-destructiveness made him difficult to love, and so for much of his life, Freddie suffered greatly, desperately seeking love while burdened with the knowledge that he drove it away. Because of his iconic status as a party animal and his flamboyant nature, people often tend to gloss over his substance abuse. But according to Peter Freestone, who worked for Mercury for over a decade, getting the star his cocaine was a regular part of his job. Though Freestone doesn't frame it as an addiction, cocaine seemed to be a staple in Freddie's life. Part of his falling out with Michael Jackson allegedly stemmed from the Queen singer using the drug in Jackson's home. You generally can't party for days as Mercury did without it damaging your behavior.
I've been hideous. I know that, and I deserve your fury. I've been conceited, selfish.
When not performing or otherwise entertaining, he was known to be quite shy, and drugs were likely an essential tool in helping him come out of his shell. The final chapter in Freddie Mercury's life is the darkest and most well-known.
I've got it. Got what? AIDS.
According to partner Jimmy Hutton, Mercury was diagnosed with HIV in 1987, but the singer didn't publicly acknowledge it until 1991, just 24 hours before his death. Up until the very end, however, even as his health deteriorated, Mercury continued to pursue his great passion, music. Speaking with Queen guitarist Brian May towards the end of his life, he told his bandmate, quote, "Write me more, write me stuff. I want to just sing this and do it, and when I'm gone, you can finish it off."
Worst of all, if you bore me with your sympathy, that's just seconds wasted. Seconds that could be used making music, which is all I want to do with the time I have left.
The great showman eventually became bedridden, lost most of his foot, and began to lose his eyesight. With various friends visiting him around the clock in the last few weeks of his life, Freddie Mercury chose to embrace his fate by foregoing any further treatment. He died on November 24th, 1991.
You think you're going to get to heaven?
No, I don't want to.
You don't want to?
No, hell's much better. Look at the interesting people that you're going to meet down there. You're going to be there too, you know.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Freddie left large sums of money to everyone from Jimmy Hutton to his chef and personal driver, all the people who made his life a little less lonely. The majority of his fortune, however, he left to Mary Austin, the love of his life and longest-lasting friend.
His life really had been his work, and I think his joy had been that. And I think without it, he wouldn't have been strong enough to face.
To the rest of us, Mercury left an enduring legacy of not only powerful and timeless music, but also his fashion sense, bold personality, and the high bar he set for all performers to follow. Freddie Mercury was one of a kind, and while his life was difficult and tragically short, he continues to inspire countless fans around the world.
I don't regret any of the things I did. I'm just me, you know, I'm just me.
C'est la vie.
Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're a fan of the song playing right now, be sure to check out the music video for it right here.
Dear mother, did you warn us this place would be great? That nothing was free and you've gotta pay to play.